Hello boaters, welcome to Narrowboat Journeys. My name is Phil, and at the time of recording this, I've lived afloat aboard my narrowboat for nearly 34 years. I share my home with my two cats, Bushka and Midge, and we spend our days travelling around the Canal system and making videos. In this video, I'm on the Oxford Canal and just setting off from below Pigeons Lock, which is near Kirtlington, and I'll be boating a couple of miles down the canal through Enslow and then mooring up just below Baker's Lock where it joins the River Cherwell. Now, there should be no problem in passing here, but this hire boat was going so slowly that I was drifting towards the bridge. It didn't leave me an awful lot of room, so I ended up going into the bank. Ideally, you should get out of the bridge hole as quickly as possible if there's another boat trying to come through. The water is so shallow here I wasn't really able to turn, so I had to jump off and give the bow a bit of a shove. This looks like a very nice place to moor, and you do often see boats actually moored along this little bit, but it's a very bad place to stop because you're on a bend and very often boats will come through there very quickly. It's just asking for trouble. Just after the metal piling, it's even worse for mooring. It's very, very shallow here, both sides. You need to stick, if you're a deep drafted boat, you need to stick pretty much in the middle. This one approaching me is a deep drafted boat, so we will end up passing fairly closely, but it's all okay if we know what we're doing. This sad little thing is all that remains of Caravan Lift Bridge. It was quite a beautiful lift bridge really. It was fully operational, although there's no right of way across it, but eventually it all fell away and they've removed it, and the plan here was that they were going to rebuild it that winter, but those plans got changed and it's still like this today. These moored boats mark the start of Enslow Marina, which is coming up next. The towpath is over on the right, and immediately on the other side of that is the River Cherwell. It's just a few feet away from the canal. We don't really see it from the bow camera here. This is not the most thoughtful way of mooring a boat. I give people fishing a wide berth if I can, but it's up to them to get all their kit out of the way. As I said, the River Cherwell is very close to the towpath here, and immediately on the other side of this railway bridge, if you look to the right, we can't really see it by this camera, but to the right there's a weir on the River Cherwell, and if water is flowing over that weir, then the river is probably not safe to go down. If the weir itself is dry, you're probably okay. So it's also worth having a look there on your way down. This is Enslow, and in the summer, if there's a lot of boats moving, this bit can actually be quite tricky because you've got boats moored on both sides, and just up ahead there's a bridge which is on a bit of a crooked angle, very narrow, so you have to be careful going through here. Now your guidebook, your canal guide, will tell you that there's a pub at Enslow called the Rock of Gibraltar, and it's over to the left, but it's all closed down now. I don't know if it's ever going to reopen. If you come here expecting to go to the pub or to have a meal, you're in trouble because there's nothing else nearby. We do have the luxury of a couple of rubbish bins though, just a short way down this path. Now I've got some rubbish I've got to get rid of. I'm going to stop briefly just on the other side of this bridge, and then we'll resume our journey. very left of the screen there, you can see the rubbish bins. Right, that's the rubbish disposed of. Off we go again. These are all long-term moorings here, no room for visitors. These boats are moored on a bit of a bend. It's fairly gentle, but you can't see anything coming because of the vegetation. I believe the boats along here do tend to get hit quite a lot. Years ago, these weren't permanent moorings. They didn't come up this far, so anyone could stop here. And I've moored here before, back in the old days, and I had numerous occasions when boats smashed into me there. Not a good place. And if I had a mooring here, I'd have to do something about this tree on the left. It's forcing boats over towards them. I'm now approaching Baker's Lock. There's a little bit of mooring space above and again below the lock. Just after Baker's Lock, the Oxford Canal joins with the River Cherwell for about a mile. It's quite windy and twisty, not good places to moor along the river, but we're not covering that in this video. Some years ago I found a dead deer in this lock. Poor thing, it was quite big. There was nothing I could do. I couldn't lift it out, so I had to open the lower lock gate and just sort of flush it out, and it would have floated down the river, poor thing. These lock paddles are really stiff and heavy. Well, I'm going to moor up just beyond the lock landing here. I'm only going to stay about a day. If you keep watching, you'll see me let the cats out. Hope you've enjoyed this little trip. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you next time.